Nature's superiority over nurture in child development presented by me, Lemieux. Firstly, we must understand the argument nature researcher by examining two key factors, nature and nurture. Firstly, nature are the genetics, biology, and physical appearance that make up who we are. For instance, hair color and height, while nurture are variables that affect our brain and are outside events like abuse, education, and peer pressure. Kendra Cherry exemplifies nurture with 15 years of experience as an educator, stating, "Nurture encompasses the environmental factors that impact who we are. This includes our early childhood experiences, the way we are raised, our social relationships, and the surrounding culture." Next, I'm going to talk about the genetic and environmental impacts on childhood. Firstly, the environmental impact on childhood. It affects brain development, shapes the adult future of the child, and also includes key variables like parental abuse and peer pressure. The picture in the top left corner is an example of parental abuse shown by an anonymous child who drew this picture showing a broken heart separating him and his father, which showcases the lack of love that they share. Next, the genetic impact on childhood. This includes main changes like physical appearance, hair color and height, and also disabilities like Down syndrome and autism, which both affect the brain. However, you might be asking, which impacts children more? Is it environment or is it genetics? Well, let's examine the two. Environments can affect brain maturity, growth, and can even influence genomes, which I'll touch on later. While genetics affect appearance, can create disabilities, and also can impact bodily changes. The answer to which is more important is environments. Environments make a multitude of key changes, and these changes eclipse genes. In fact, like Shimi Cervanti, with multiple articles in psychology, expands on this topic, stating, "Behavioral epigenetic research has indicated that life experiences can affect gene expression. This quote shows how environmental variables are superior over genetic ones because they can even influence what they express and can change how they affect a person." The superior environmental variables that affect children can include parental abuse, cultural influence, and eclipsing genetic conditions. I'm going to talk about all three of these now. Firstly, parental abuse. Our first key brain development environmental variable is parental abuse. According to Combo, an experienced psychological blog with a multitude of articles, children who experience neglect or stress may struggle emotionally as they grow. This quote truly shows how parental abuse can affect a child emotionally and also how they react to relationships in their future life. And this can also lead to mental diseases like depression. Shannon Herod proved this by stating, "The presence of difficult social environments and the absence of positive social environments predicted greater increases in depressive symptoms in youth." The absence of good social environments and the presence of bad social environments are basically examples of parental abuse, and as she states, they can lead to depression. Secondly, cultural influence. This variable includes where one grows up and what their beliefs are. It can even alter reactions to events and how you can answer questions, and can also lead to creating certain beliefs like racism or sexism. For instance, if you grow up and your parents teach you to be a racist or a sexist, you might grow up being a racist or a sexist, and that can actually impact how you react to certain events. Lastly, environmental superiority over genetic variables. According to Learn Genetics Utah, an organization specified in Learning Genetics, they state, because identical twins develop from a single fertilized egg, they have the same genome, so any differences between twins are due to their environments, not genetics. In fact, many different environmental factors can disrupt the twin-like features of identical twins, and as many of you know, I'm an identical twin myself, and me and my brother are nothing alike. From different grades, to different reactions to events, to even different test scores, our environmental variables and outside events throughout our life have changed us both dramatically. The stimulus connections. Both my stimulus connections are from the same article, Soledad, Selena, Latinos, and the Performance of Memory. And the first quote is, "This book explores how a range of Latino/Latina communities, like the Observer Museum visitors, critically inhabited and interrogated the memorial terrain of Soledad in efforts to measure and create new patterns for their own lives at the close of the 20th century." This quote explores how people use events from their past, like memories, and use them to forge new paths in the future and truly change their lives for the better, instead of focusing on the negative aspects, which I've been talking about. The second quote is, "It is not uncommon for a singular figure, event, or image to emerge as a flashback for the constellation and transformation of cultural or national memory. Think, for instance, of Stonewall, Jet Magazine's photographs of Emmett Till, Elvis, or the planes crane of the Twin Towers." This quote shows all key events from American history, and these events have actually influenced how our culture is. They've influenced our music, our view on terrorists, and even our view on slavery. And that shows how outside variables like events can influence culture and even complete countries. Lastly, the relevance of this argument is not something to be looked over. In fact, we must understand the influence of environments, as many children across the world are suffering with anxiety and depression and other mental diseases. And the root of these causes are environmental variables. So if we focus more on these variables, instead of just blaming it on genetics, we can get to the root of this and save children from mental diseases all across the world. Thank you.
518.